Welcome back, folks, to the last League match of the season for these two teams here. We're gonna be casting Band of Wonders and Smash Mouth All Stars tonight, and with me, as always, is my friendly neighborhood co-host, New Type. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Got the feet up, the shoes off, and it's chair league night. We got some historic teams here tonight. Band of Wonders and Smash Mouth All Stars, both were there at the beginning. Both teams have very lengthy match histories, dating back all the way to the beginning of January. So both teams are looking to notch their 8th match. And, both teams are sitting at 3-4 records. So, one team is going to walk out of the season exactly 50-50 on wins and losses. The other team's going to, unfortunately, fall down to a 3-5 record. But really excited to see what sort of play comes out of both teams here today, as we're going to be on Dragon Shire. And, Dragon Shire is a great map, sort of a classic map in that, you've got room for a lot of individual efforts and lanes. There's real crisp rotations available to the mid lane and bot lane. I think we're in for a real treat here with this game.
Yeah, I'm excited. So who do you think we'll see tonight? We've seen a lot of Zagara bans, so
yeah. I mean, Zagara is definitely contested on this map, no doubt. She's one of the strongest characters you can pick for that top lane. And, spoiler alert, we'll be referring to this several times. Due to not being included in Top Draft's interface, Zool will not be available for teams tonight. So, typically I would say, Zool's going to get, some sort of action, either a ban or a pick in the first round. But that's not going to happen tonight. And that's one less tool in the toolbox, or Zool in the toolbox, to combat that top laner that's always present on this map. Like, you're going to see Thrall or you're going to see Zagara. I can guarantee it. Now, other potentials, who are we going to see? Muradin is so deadly on this map. Rotating in the mid lane to the bot lane. If you can build a gnarly gank squad with Muradin and any other stun, securing a 2 or 3 second stun on a rotation when all 4 of your team members are driving through a lane. It's literally a drive-by. Muradin reaches out, he levels somebody, and you and your posse just light them up and cruise on to the next lane.
Yeah, don't judge a dwarf by his height. Apparently,
yeah,
he can get like 10 feet tall.
No, dude, he's got mad hops. That Muradin. I don't want to ball against him, but
So dwarves can play basketball? Is
yes,
that what you're saying?
Muradin can play basketball. Falstad literally flies on a giant thunder chicken. Like, I don't doubt his game at all. No, dwarves, man, they're sick. They play mean. They play mean street ball, dude. So no, like, speaking of dwarves, Falstad's also a huge pick on this map. Movement and mobility is key on this map. Being able to, adequately secure the mid and bot lanes with a fast rotation team and a fast wave clearing team is vital. And Falstad provides sort of an extra safety net where if you get into a scrap in one location, you can throw him out into another lane to soak, to soak, or to secure a shrine. And if things are getting kind of ugly in bot shrine and there's a dragon, there's threat of a dragon knight, you can always throw Falstad up to the top lane, and have him cap that top shrine, if you've got the enemy's attention elsewhere, if you've got them all in the bot lane. I like global presence heroes are really, really solid on this one. Falstad probably foremost of those heroes. TLV is just not quite as beneficial in this map because of how aggressively the rotations work and how you're basically always going to have somebody in a lane. It's not like the other maps where the laning phase is just dropped, abruptly for a couple of minutes while an objective is pursued. But
do you think we'll see Rexar tonight? Rexar has been played so often in pro Dragon Shire games.
It's tough to tell. He's so hard to control. And I mean, it really comes down to the individual skill levels of each team, whether or not they feel confident with Rexar. But the fact that you can, hold a point with the bear, the real hero, and then send his pet Rexar, that guy, off to lane. The fact that you can be, sort of in two places at once is pretty beneficial. So yeah, it's Rexar. If there was a map where I would consider picking him, I think this would be one of them. Yeah, I think this would be one of them. I think, like I said, a lot of it depends on the individual skills of the players involved. And so it looks like, the captain's draft links have gone out, and we're going to be starting up this draft right now.
Yep, right now. So who first ban time? I'm expecting Zagara here personally.
The Rhaegar changes have gone through, so I'm very curious to see if teams are still skittish enough to ban him in the first phase here.
Falstad.
They banned Falstad.
All right.
Okay, so they ban that global presence. They ban, the potential for Gust, the potential for all those other, crowd controlling elements that Falstad has. Zagara is dropped off as the second ban, so she did not make it through. I don't think I've seen a single game, that I've casted this week where she made it through that first stage.
Yeah, I wonder if they're setting up for an ETC build. Band of Wonders, that is, because taking Falstad out is a major player in removing threats to your ETC mosh.
Mm-hmm. Well, Rhaegar does get picked up immediately by Band of Wonders, so they're going to try and make him work, even with the recent changes he just received this week. Rolling debuffs or rolling nerfs to all sorts of Rhaegar picks or Rhaegar abilities. Pardon me. And, we're seeing some familiar faces here. Li Ming is still a viable contender for damage. She is so good right now.
And she always will be, those resets. Resets are undeniably one of the most powerful tools that they have in their in Li Ming's.
Really aggressive early Sonya pick from Smash Mouth All-Stars. Sonya's going to be a fantastic tool in their mid and bot lane rotations. Paired with Li Ming, that also denies the Sonya pick from Band of Wonders. That's one less diver that Li Ming is going to have to worry about getting all up in her business.
Yeah, so who do you think the next picks are? They're going to have to pick a tank soon.
I think it's wise to pick one DPS and one tank, and then ban another tank from Smash Mouth All-Stars. Try and pigeonhole them into a single tank of your choosing. I think you want to pick up Muradin here, or maybe ETC, and leave them with Johanna, the slightly less mobile tank.
Yeah, and they're running into their
reserve
pool a little bit here. We'll see. Okay, Jaina picked up. That's a fair. She's still extremely powerful now that Kale's been nerfed. She's the mage of choice nowadays.
Mm-hmm. You got to have that burst damage. It's just something you cannot avoid. And with Li Ming off the table, Jaina's the natural second pick.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I've seen some interesting combos with her slow and executioner.
Yeah, and there's a lot of slows. Rhaegar and Jaina both provide slows on this team. So, yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
So I wonder if they're going to build towards maybe that sort of build. Not really seeing any counters to that at this point, and maybe they're hiding that particular aspect. But they're really running into their reserve time here.
Yeah, 20 seconds left on their reserve pool here, and they're still going. They're running this one down. They've got to pick, and they've got to pick quickly here.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
and they go with ETC. So like I said, you pick a tank here, you ban out another tank when it's your ban here. You really pigeonholes Smash Mouth into picking a specific tank. Or they might ban out a healer. That's they still have not picked a healer, Smash Mouth that is.
Yeah, so Thrall is banned out. I wonder why that is. What do you think?
They're denying Band of Wonders, like the premier top laner when aside from Zagara. If you notice, Smash Mouth All-Stars banned Zagara and Thrall, who are both, just clinch that top lane. They make it so hard to do anything there.
But they have the next picks here. I was going to say they could have picked up Thrall to counter the ETC mosh.
I couldn't tell you. I guess they have something in mind. They banned the Johanna, as I said, so they're forcing
Muradin,
Band of
actually.
Wonders forces a Muradin, basically. You might see a Diablo, or if they're feeling really gutsy, you might see a Stitches.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, Stitches.
we'll have to see how Smash Mouth responds here. I'd like to see what their pick is. I mean, you can expect a Muradin. And they probably want to pick up their healer with this round here too. So they have one last pick to potentially counter some screwball, curveball pick from Band of Wonders. So we see the Rainer,
Okay.
and are we going to see Morales here?
With Sonya Li Ming, I feel like Morales might be a necessity. Although Uther would be still pretty good in this situation. We'll have to see.
They go with Muradin. I
Okay.
mean, so they pick their tank up. Last pick from Smash Mouth All Stars is going to be their healer. I would expect Lieutenant Morales, unless Band of Wonders decides to deny them that. That would be an intelligent pick from Band of Wonders, but they already have Rhaegar,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I was going to say Rhaegar. The Rhaegar on the team with Morales is not really the best.
Yeah, not worthwhile.
Combo. Not unless you are missing a tank or something like that, and you decide to go dual healers, which honestly, that is a scary setup, But an interesting Greymane pick here.
I like it.
Yeah, Greymane is just like a better Rainer, in my opinion. I mean, his ability to go in for the burst when necessary is just fantastic. But the Rainer pick actually might have been Rainer Muradin picks might have been in anticipation of the ETC Moshes as well. So,
Well, I mean, Smash Mouth All Stars has a fair amount of interruptions for the ETC. Sonya has the Ancient Spear. Muradin has his Stormbolt. And Rainer would ostensibly be picking up at 16. And there's the Rexar pick. You called it, my friend. So, Band of Wonders catering to our deepest, darkest desires and picking Rexar up. Great at locking down those locations with Misha, his pet bear. Also great at jungling. And picking up those mercenary camps. And as we noted, Lieutenant Morales rounds out the draft for Smash Mouth All Stars.
Yeah, I'm so excited for Rexar. Oh my gosh, Rexar is just so good at keeping tabs on the objective in this particular map. The fact that Misha can actually cap the objective while Rexar is still in lane, taking XP. I mean, that is phenomenal for this particular map. So I'm really excited to see what Band of Wonders can do with this team here. So, what do you think?
There's room for a lot of synergy with Rhaegar and Rexar. I mean, even though the Lightning Shield talents have been removed, I mean, being able to drop a Lightning Shield on Misha as she goes diving in, to support the ETC dive, to support the Greymane dive, there's a lot of actual dive on this on Band of Wonders. And, I mean, the front line for Smash Mouth All-Stars is going to have to be pretty tight. Sonya and Muradin have got to be able to mitigate the dives coming from Band of Wonders and let their backliners, Rainer and Li Ming, do a ton of damage. They do an absolute crazy amount of damage. And if Lieutenant Morales goes for Stim Drone and buffs up Rainer, that's scary. That's super scary.
So they're going to have to be very careful because if ETC gets its Mosh off, there is enough burst on that team just take down anything.
Absolutely, yeah. A mosh pit could be an absolute disaster for Smash Mouth All Stars. Sometimes you end up seeing teams where they packed they're packing Lunara or they're packing a couple other of these like Nazebo. And it just doesn't add up when the mosh pit comes through. This team is dangerous. They got Greymane, they got Jaina, they got ETC, or they got Rhaegar, and they can absolutely heap on the damage when it's asked of them. So, thoughts on rotation? Who do you think's going where right now?
Well, Rainer's a reliable solo laner there, and Rexar is obviously the other solo laner. So solo laner.
I think Rainer is a pretty decent pick to go for that top lane. The only thing he'd be missing out is the seasoned marksman stacks that you get by rotating. But at the same time, he just does not contribute to the ganks that you want to set up when you're rotating mid and bottom. Sonya does. So I would expect Rainer in top lane, Sonya and company in bottom lane. Whereas for Band of Wonders, I would expect, yeah, as you say, probably the Rexar in the top lane, and then the other 4 moving throughout mid and bottom. But here we go.
Yep, and yep, we have once again for people tuning in, Band of Wonders versus Smash Mouth All Stars, both Week 8 teams, and New Type, would you do the honors?
Of course, yeah. Coming in here on the left-hand side, stacking in the middle lane, we've got Timon on the Greymane. We've got Balin on Rhaegar, Life in Color on Rexar, Hortonius on ETC, and Doomhammer 11 on the Jaina. That's Team Band of Wonders. On the right-hand side, in the red trunks, representing Team Smash Mouth All-Stars, we got Ezekiel Rage on Sonya, Blackout on Muradin, Garrar on Raynor, Philosophy on Li Ming, and Solo on Lieutenant Morales.
And Raynor taking a lot of damage to start there, and Misha eating up a lot of the damage on Band of Wonders' side, so not really much there.
So the Rexar does go to the top lane, but it is the Sonya that goes north here. And we're seeing Raynor pick up Give Me More for this one. So I have to question, this is a big laning map. You get a ton of stacks from Seasoned Marksman just by running around on this map. So that's a little questionable at the moment, but at the same time, Give Me More does give you some staying power in these long-term shrine fights.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's... Oh, Muradin picked up early there by a great positioning.
Yeah, serious.
Yeah.
I think Raynor being in rotation here is a slight misplay. I think you want the stun and the burst from Sonya to accompany Li Ming and the tank. I think... if he's not taking Seasoned Marksman, he gains nothing from being in these 2 lanes.
Yep, and very interesting. I wonder if the Give Me More is actually specifically towards the Mosh pickups, maybe, to try to survive a Mosh.
We'll see that later. They'd be taking things like Relentless Leader at later levels if they're fearful of a Mosh.
Smash Mouth actually picking up both objectives at this point. Misha getting pretty low and having to back out a little bit. But it looks like it's going to be fairly in control of... Band of Wonders is going to be in control of this midpoint here, so they won't be able to pick up the Dragon Knight. So, Greymane trying to solo against Li Ming and Raynor at the bottom there.
It's a tall order for the tall order for the Gilnean. As far as talents go, both teams have achieved level 4 at this point. We're seeing pretty solid standard stuff from most of the characters: Warpaint, Lingering Chill. Rexar with the block, and Rhaegar is going with the Lightning Shield build. He's gonna try and make it work despite the recent changes. Still, it's just still naturally a strong ability. Let's see if the recent nerfs to the ability talents play out and affect his playstyle here.
It looks like Morales rotated to top to try to bully out the Rexar, but Li Ming gets punished in mid as a result of that. And,
yeah, big rotation from the bot lane. They absolutely dive on her.
Yeah, so the Rhaegar's pretty effectively clearing out that lane, and can do very little against that Muradin. Or sorry, the Muradin can do very little against it. But Muradin looking to try to pick up that Dragon Knight in the meantime, but it looks like Band of Wonders denies them that. So what are you thinking about the lack of Merc camps so far?
That's not unusual. I mean, at this point, giving up presence in a lane to grab a Merc camp can be detrimental if you mistime it or if you do it incorrectly. I think right now the focus is on getting the first Dragon Knight, and it probably probably should be. Raynor, another great rotation from the Jaina, the Greymane, and the Rhaegar. They slow and they just pop him. Raynor just can't heal through it despite taking Give Me More, and is brought down for it. It may have been on cooldown. I didn't have the opportunity to check.
So ETC attempting to get the Dragon Knight, but really, Muradin zoning him out there.
That would be the longest tickle fight in history. Both tanks just nudging each other with auto attacks.
Yeah, but Rhaegar's now in the fight, so Murden probably should be backing out soon here. There's no way Murden can survive against this without the assistance of Morales, who's at bottom actually.
Yeah, he hops out, but that brutal soloing power of Sonya at top allows them to hang on and fight another day.
Mm-hmm. Sonya's doing a very effective job of keeping Rexxar from taking advantage of the points too much.
And this is the strength of Rexxar, or Rhaegar, or no, Rexxar. This is the strength of Rexxar right here. You've got Misha on the point, and Rexxar actually pushing the lane.
We gotta hold on. We got a disconnect here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause here. But
Rar, our Rainer player, has left the game.
So, we'll wait a second here while we get the Rainer back here.
So, initial thoughts.
Well, that's a pretty natural Dragonite, I think. Just the amount of takedowns on Band of Wonders' side has probably basically given them the opportunity to take this fight here. Let's pull up the talents here real quick. Putting on a clinic from Rainer.
Yeah, his build is a little different from what I would anticipate from a Rainer. The cooldown reduction is nice. It keeps that life regeneration with the E talent refreshed, but typically here you see something like Revolution Overdrive to help improve your personal movement speed when inspiring. And so I want to see where his late game talents go, if he's really that fearful of a mosh, if he takes Relentless Leader, or something a little less out of the norm.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of Sonya's build with follow through?
Confident. I'm really surprised, honestly. The typical Sonya build at 7 is Ferocious Healing. Well, you get Warpaint at 1, which makes sense since Sonya's probably going to be solo laning the whole time.
Right. I'm sorry. The new icon.
Focus attack at 4 makes sense. That's that's pretty standard. You'd either take that or you'd take Mercenary Lord, but Mercenary Lord doesn't really have a big deal. It doesn't have a place in this map. But follow through is not the typical build. Like I said, you typically take Ferocious Healing at 7, which is a 10-second cooldown to expend a little bit of Fury for 10% of your health. It's great for when you're stuck on your own in a solo lane. So this Sonya is confident that the damage that's going to be done to her is not going to be sufficient to scare her and put her out of the lane. And if that does happen, she's gonna rely on that Morales to help save the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Morales is
seems he's back.
Okay. Morales needs to really focus on her rotations. I mean, she's been out of position quite a lot.
She hasn't been picked up though. I mean, she hasn't contributed to any kills or hasn't contributed to any deaths. But they've. Yeah, red team. I think what they need to worry about is that Jaina or Greymane rotation. They're really, really, really doing a good job of pulling around, slowing, and then cleaning up. Characters as they do these drive-bys, as they do these.
Yeah,
basically what it is. It's a Greymane drive-by.
It's Tupac all over again. She should really be following along with these rotations.
Looks like here we go. We're about to start it back up again. Morales with Cleanse at 7. Great call there. With that ETC on the field, you cannot. You have to respect the mosh pit. You have to respect the mosh pit.
Yeah. So okay, let's get back into this game here. Okay, so the Dragon Knight's doing some number on the mid wall there, sorry, mid tower there. But yeah, it is a level 9 Dragon Knight, so it's gonna actually do some damage here, and it actually might enable them to pick up their 10s first.
Well, they're a full level ahead. Band of Wonders is, and as you can see, Sonya from Smash Mouth All Stars has actually rotated the mid to help bring the damage, while Muradin has taken her place at top. Dragon Knight's going to move up this way to see what he can do this neck of the neighborhood.
And looks like Muradin's trying to, push this back here, but Misha's really eating up all that damage that's being put out. And Misha really doing a great job at just being the tank there. Rexar's not the actual tank.
Yeah.
And honestly, they're actually going to take that tower down. But interesting, Rexar or Rhaegar had to use his ancestral to get out of that four-man drive-by from
sticky situation in mid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Smash Mouth seems to be taking a page out of Band of Wonders book there. But they really need to get to 10s, otherwise they cannot contest this. And they're going to have to move back here at bottom because that four-man drive-by just taking down Morales out of position
and
there.
Li Ming is not long for this world. She's going to get blown up as well. The moment they hit 10, the moment that they potentially have an advantage, Smash Mouth can't consolidate, and Band of Wonders does, picking up a big gank at bottom.
Yeah, not only that, Smash Mouth's tank, Muradin, is actually at top, a little out of position out of this entire engagement here. They really need to start defending this, otherwise they're going to lose more than those towers. They're going to lose this keep here, this fort.
Ults picked up from both teams. We're seeing Go for the Throat, Ancestral Healing, Bestial Wrath, Mosh Pit, and a Ring of Frost for Band of Wonders. And we're seeing Leap come out for Sonya, Avatar. We're seeing Disintegrate from Li Ming and Stim Drone. Raynor has not picked his ult yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hope that's not a disconnect there. With his network issues
We'll have to see here. We'll have to see.
But yeah, shrines are coming up now shortly, and it looks like Band of Wonders is actually in position to try to pick up both of the. Well, Rayman has to move back a little bit.
This Li Ming is playing with fire up here. If she gets too close, the ETC is absolutely going to pounce her. He is waiting.
Yeah, he is waiting, but Muradin's going to catch him out of position here.
Muradin from out of nowhere.
Yeah, but there's not enough damage to capitalize on that, and Misha just really taking the brunt of that frontline damage, and being healed up subsequently by Rexar there. So Muradin's rotating back down to bottom, perhaps to try to pick up the Dragon Knight, actually, but Rhaegar catches him just before he manages to pick it up. Great rotation.
Raynor does eventually take his ult here. He does take Hyperion, so some zone control there. And Groupies picked up from the ETC.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
The healing from Rexar is sort of bursty, and especially in the middle of a mosh, the Groupies is actually great because it's a heal over time, and
where these players picked Rhaegar and Rexar just to mess with us. We're going to be having words with those team captains when we're done here.
words. So, looks like the four-man team from Band of Wonders is trying to pick up the bottom objective here, but Li Ming's going to negate the top objective here very shortly, and it's going to be a ping-pong game here, back and forth.
But Muradin's fine. Mm-hmm. Nobody can stop Muradin. He just walks through middle like he doesn't have a care in the world.
Yeah, he has mad hops. So, let's see here. Just a lot of positioning back and forth at this point. Just
Morales takes a lot of damage at top, though, and they're going to bring her down. Raynor kind of caught in the center of a circle of Ring of Frost here and does make it out, but the Morales pick off there is big. She's going to be down for another 20 seconds. Yeah. And,
Raynor probably could have saved her life by putting down the Hyperion right there.
Maybe. I don't know if that damage would have deterred them from going for that kill. I think Morales would not have gotten out of that.
Yeah, but Sonya in a bad spot here, a little bit out of position, and she's going to have She uses her leap to try to get out, but she still doesn't manage to escape in time.
That's not good for Smash Mouth. They are continuously behind one person, and that's just preventing them from taking any sort of coordinated team fight. And Band of Wonders now has control over the Dragon Shrine.
Yeah, the respawn roulette is very, very hard to come back from. I mean, you have to do a coordinated... Oh, there's the mosh, and it's immediately interrupted by a Rainer Q. So that was actually a very, very well-timed, anti-mosh from Rainer there. Very well done. And they're just trying to position at this point, but there's the stim drone going out.
There's the stim drone.
And it's taking down, or it did a lot of damage on ETC, and it instantly took down, or actually Murden got picked up.
Yeah, things fold for Smash Mouth, and that actually was Relentless Leader from Rainer. So Rainer did not actually queue out of that mosh pit. He's still too early a level.
Oh,
he
sorry.
took Relentless Leader, and that pinged the ETC off of him and the rest of his team. He actually saved his team there with that talent pick. But unfortunately, they weren't able to sort of extricate themselves from that engagement, and as a result, Muradin and Rainer did end up going down.
I think the knockback from his Q does interrupt.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't interrupt.
It doesn't? Okay.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, weird. Okay, I'm sorry.
It only it pushes people out. It pushes the ETC back, so people might end up out of the mosh. But it doesn't stun unless you talent into it at 16.
Oh, that's very interesting. I always thought that the Q would be able to deny the mosh. But anyway, so they're really, really trying to get a fight in at top here.
Oh yeah,
because
there's a scrap here, and Muradin just cannot survive this. He's going to get blown up by all 5 members of Band of Wonders.
Yeah, Band of Wonders has the talent lead right now, and they're really trying to push the advantage.
Oh, they totally are. Rainer is just peppering them with damage, but it's just not enough at this moment.
Yeah, he really needed Seasoned Marksman to really put a dent in.
I'm surprised that he took this conservative of a build, honestly.
Especially with the stim drone so readily available. I mean...
Yeah, Give Me More is really questionable. A leap goes on to Jaina. She ice blocks out, and Sonya's picked off as a result. Really went in deep there, the Sonya did, without much support from her team. Band of Wonders is going to control this top shrine, but Li Ming does manage to sneak to bottom and pick it up. I don't know if this was worth it or not. We're stalling out the Dragon Knight, yes, but we lost the team fight at top as a result.
And the 4-man group of death here, just rotating down to bottom to try to take that objective right back and clear the siege giants that have been taken in the meantime there. Looks like top is picked up by Smashmouth back again, and we're just playing this game of ping pong all over again.
Greymane went with Executioner at 16 for Band of Wonders. I mean, given the amount of crowd control on his team, Rexar, Jaina, Rhaegar, this was absolutely, this was calculated. This was a deliberate pick and an intelligent one. He's going to get loads of value out of Executioner with the teammates that he has.
Absolutely. And really the amount of slows, the amount of he could be just in lane with any one of his teammates, and he would be able to capitalize on Executioner. Yeah,
Rainer goes with the bullseye to give him yet another out from the ETC mosh. Smart picks. Right now your talents have got to get value out of the talents. You got to pay dividends on these talents, and Rhaegar went with Rising Storm. Nerfs be damned. He's going to play Rhaegar the way he wants to play Rhaegar, and it's just how it's going to be. Sonya invades on Greymane at the top here and is able to force him out of the top shrine, denying Band of Wonders that Dragon Knight central location. Hyperion goes out, pushes Band of Wonders back a little bit here, buys them some time in mid.
Yeah, that might be a little too early there. I guess to try to zone them out, but Murden's trying to...
It is a bit preemptive.
Yeah. But
They were
Murden's trying
feeling
to...
some pressure there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Murden's taking down the Siege Giants in bottom. He really should be up there at the team fight there, because there's just the Mosh that just went out. But
lightning bolt reaction from Raynor to interrupt that, but I don't know if it's going to save the rest of his team. Morales is so low. Is she going to make it? Yes, she does.
But she's going back in for some reason here.
She went back in and died horribly. Oh, no.
Yeah, and they're going to have to back out a little bit. Murden's just now rotating to mid to try to pick up the Dragon Knight, but he's going to be a little bit late to this party, and he's not going to be able to pick up that Dragon Knight. He's going to have to back out here.
That was a lightning bolt, like greased lightning reaction from Raynor. The moment that Mosh went out, he had the Q. He had the Q at the ready and immediately bailed his team out. Heads up play from the Raynor there.
Absolutely. So it looks like Band of Wonders is going down to bottom to try to capitalize on this Dragon Knight in the meantime here, because Smash Mouth is actually one down, so they're not going to be able to take on the Dragon Knight. So they're actually clearing top. They're trying to capitalize on Misha. Or sorry, Rexar.
They pick Rexar up. He pushed a little further forward. I think their initial plan was to try and get that top shrine. But you know, when it became apparent that they weren't going to get there in time, they just turned their attention to Rexar. Level 20 picked up by Band of Wonders here. And we're seeing Hunter's Blunderbuss, Rewind, Frenzy of Kalimdor, and 2 bolts.
Yeah, this is quite interesting.
No.
Raynor, yeah, Sonya was just picked up there. The Stim Drone really didn't do much. Used up mostly on the Dragon Knight there, but a level 20 Dragon Knight has so much health. And without the season marks to make that Stim Drone even more effective, it took maybe like half of his damage.
Yeah, I have to question Give Me More on this map.
Mosh not up there Mosh was up. That was a perfect Mosh opportunity there, but not taken.
I mean, Murden is still in the neighborhood with room to stun. I mean, I guess he just did not feel confident with his current location and maybe with the location of his teammates. So Mosh withheld, and
that's true. Rexar wasn't up yet, so there was. I mean, there is a lot of damage on that team, but just maybe he was trying to hold off on it to try to capitalize it on a little bit more here. So they're going to pick up the offensive.
Li Ming really, really far forward there and is almost picked up, but manages to sneak away back to Lotan Morales.
So wow, they're actually going to pick up the offensive Siege Giants, and they're going to maybe push with them.
Oh yeah. Well, this is really hard for Smash Mouth to defend. They don't have 20s yet, and I mean. The Blink Mosh interrupted again immediately by Raynor. Man, he's got a hair
so
trigger.
much damage from the Jaina. Wow. That was just brutal to watch. Jaina picks off at least 2 of Smash Mouth's team there.
The Jaina Greymane combo with that Executioner is absolutely devastating. It is absolutely devastating.
And 4 of the Smash Mouth's team picked up as a result of that combo there, and we might be seeing a... Oh, Rhaegar does go down, though, so they're out of healer. They might not be able to push the core at this particular junction here. So, but shrines are coming back up, so we should see maybe a push with Dragon Knight shortly. But the other team is going to be up for that particular fight, so we'll see how they choose to go forward here.
I'll have to check and see if Relentless Leader was procced on that one. I mean, it is absolutely a fantastic talent to take when ETC is up. When you're facing that ETC, it's almost mandatory. He doesn't have the HP to really warrant Giant Killer, and that mosh pit can absolutely just devastate your game if you get caught in the wrong one. So.
Yeah,
such a good talent to pick.
And honestly, Rexar's health pool is actually split between Misha and himself, so Giant Killer, again, not as effective on that particular pairing. So ETC tries to sneak this Dragon Knight through, but it is canceled by Morales standing on the point just shortly before. Morales and Raynor. So a lot of posturing on this particular game, but 21 kills on the side of Band of Wonders. That's just so insane. 21-2 here, and it's really an uphill battle here for Smash Mouth.
Very much so, but we're at that point in the game where, you take that one good team fight and you can run rampant on your opposing team's structures.
Yeah, comeback mechanics.
Oh yeah,
6.5 out of 10. So the stim goes out on Raynor, and the ice block goes out on Jaina, saving her life there. The Mosh catches the Raynor, but the Relentless really procking and saving his team from the Mosh's full duration there.
On that one, the Mosh actually, Raynor was just outside of it.
Actually. Oh, really? Okay.
He was just outside of it and actually popped the Q on that. I was watching that time because I was like, okay, I got to see if Relentless pops this time.
Mm-hmm.
But Jaina took so much damage at the outset of that battle. So much damage early on. And, by focusing the attention to the top lane, bot lane got pushed in, and actual health damage was done to red team's core. It's down to 78% right now.
Oh, wow. So they were probably just trying to,
buy some time, yeah.
Buy some time for their push at bottom. So back to this game of ping pong here.
I'd really like to see, some pushing here. I'd like to see, an effort to push out bot lane or sneak a kill. They're going to get Greymane up here. That's a great pickup there. And if,
yeah, hopefully.
Lieutenant Morales crushing her scouter. She's done it. She's made it overnight. Yes, Lieutenant Morales, #1 damage carry in the game, and
Li Ming trying to pick up that Dragon Knight, but actually that's a little out of position for her. And
Sonya manages to leap out just in the nick of time, like barely makes it. Raynor might be able to pick up Rhaegar here. He does. Last shot right before Rhaegar makes it through the gateway there. He is brought down by Raynor's gunfire.
Mm-hmm. And ATC is Mosh 10 seconds away here, so he's going to try to position himself to be able to counter this push a little bit.
But if Raynor is in the middle of their team, it doesn't mean anything. Raynor is going to push him away.
That's true, yeah, so we'll see. But they've really zoned out Band of Wonders here, and they're hopefully going to try to pick up this Dragon Knight as a result.
And they get it. They get the Dragon Knight. This is Smash Mouth's time to really shine and push things out.
Mm-hmm.
If they go for the bot lane here and they equalize this lane, which it is within their ability to do so right now, they do not have to worry about those deadly catapults that they're pushing towards them.
Yeah, and they're really going to try to capitalize
a bit
on this.
Forward, not really wanting to take that much damage this early in the engagement.
But almost a full mana Morales is going to heal her right up there. And I think Morales with her Caduceus reactor or whatever?
Yeah.
Caduceus,
yep.
Yeah. Really making her very, very mana
efficient, yeah.
Efficient,
she regens mana really quickly, but retreat with the fall of Sonya, a retreat from Smash Mouth, they've got to back up.
Yeah,
live to fight another day
here. And oh man,
big pick, and the Q is on cooldown. Raynor can't interrupt it.
Yep, and this might be game here for Smash Mouth. Band of Wonders is going to go ahead and chase this smartly.
And they've got an open road to the core. This is it. They're going to push forward here. The GGs are coming out from Smash Mouth. Back and forth game. They had it with that. They had it with that Dragon Knight, but the early game lead that Band of Wonders generated with those ganks and that damage was absolutely excellent. The Rexar, compliments are coming out. Really, really good play from both teams.
Yeah, excellent play from both teams there, and the Mosh at the end setting up Band of Wonders really well to take advantage of that team fight there and really capitalize on their 27 kills.
Jesus.
Oh man, what a high scoring team for Band of Wonders, or high death count for Band of Wonders there.
And I mean, just look at that Greymane damage, man.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
92,000 hero damage, and that is on the back of, the Rhaegar slow, the Rexar slow, the Jaina slow. So many slows on this team to give him that executioner damage, and then you've got Hunter's Blunderbuss as well. So you're splashing and you're doing 40% more damage. Absolutely brutal. That was absolutely brutal. Excellent play from Timon, the Greymane player. 12 kills, 12 individual kills, 14 assists, only 1 death. Mm-hmm. This was a really, really, really well put together composition. I like how they built around a specific goal, which is slows and crowd control. And they tuned their talents to maximize that effort. You have lingering chill. You've got the northern exposure to make it even more deadly. Ring of Frost is great. I mean, the Jaina build is pretty standard, but my God, does it synergize well with Greymane?
Absolutely, and the Murden took Reverberation to try to counter that a little bit, but since Zul was not allowed in this particular match, really the slows were not there for Smash Mouth there.
Like I said, I question Give Me More. I can understand its use, but there was just so much laning done in this game, so much damage potentially to be had from Seasoned Marksman. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it really saved Raynor enough times to warrant that pick.
Mm-hmm. Do you think putting on a clinic was valuable in this particular one, since there was so much laning? With the ability cooldown reduction.
I mean, you do get more of those healing E's, when it happens. That is true. Tough one. This is a tough one.
So what do you think would have made the team?
I still think Revolution Overdrive is probably more beneficial. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're dealing with the number of slows on their team. Giving yourself Revolution Overdrive gives you an opportunity to at least bring your movement speed back up to normal, and give yourself a means of getting out of that. Taking Relentless Leader at 13 though is a really smart call, especially against this team. I really like the decision to go Relentless Leader at 13 here, as opposed to something like Giant Killer or Double Barreled. Against those moshes, there were so many moshes that were interrupted by that Relentless Leader. Garar really kept his team in the game, by interrupting those moshes at those key moments.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were just not able to capitalize on the dive potential of Greymane and Jaina, and Jaina's not really dive, but the blizzard on top of the dive is just so scary.
I think if you're not going to take Ferocious Healing, you can't take Leap. Because if you're putting yourself in a position where you're diving right into their backline, you're going to make yourself a target when you do that, and you need every ounce of sustain that you can if you're going to be diving that deep. I think if you take Leap, which isn't a bad idea against this team, it gets you early access to the Jaina. You got to find a way of sustaining yourself.
So Leap is a beta order or early access pass, a beta pass.
Yeah. I don't know. That being said, I mean, Jaina's going to take Ice Block. It's so standard. It's so normal for Jaina's to take Ice Block that counting on Leap actually paying off. Like you get in there, you hit them, you get the stun. If you don't get the kill immediately, the Jaina's going to Ice Block, and the rest of her team is going to absolutely massacre you. You're going to be standing. It's going to be a 1v4. They're going to blow you up, and then Jaina's going to pop out of her Ice Block and be walk all over your ashes.
Do you think an Uther pick would have been more effective for the Divine Shield into Leap, perhaps?
If that was the plan from the get-go, to go Leap, probably.
Especially with Raynor's lack of capitalization on the stim drone, really.
I mean, he still does a fair amount of damage. But yeah, stim drone really shows its worth when it's backed up with talents like Seasoned Marksman and Giant Killer. That's when you really pay dividends with stim drone. Without both of those talents, or without either of those talents, you start to see the payoff fall off pretty quickly, as we saw here. I mean, Raynor did damage. Raynor did a lot of damage, 76,000 damage, but it just didn't. It didn't translate into kills when his team really needed it to.
Absolutely. And can we talk about how Li Ming has 114,000 damage?
That is a load of damage.
Oh my gosh, that's
a load of damage. That's what happens when you take Zay's Vengeance and Glass Cannon and you're standing a million billion miles away throwing W's at people. Yeah, Triumvirate, Zay's Vengeance, and Glass Cannon. I mean, this was long range Li Ming, and picked up a fair amount of damage and a fair number of kills doing that.
And the temporal flux really makes that disintegrate really scary at the end there. Able to pick off anyone running away from her disintegrate, because that range on that disintegrate is just too damn high.
Yeah, the problem is, it just didn't seem like her team had any opportunity to capitalize on those slows when they happened. It seemed to me more often than not, either one of two things happened. Either A, Li Ming was picked off immediately, like the first person to go down in a fight, or B, Li Ming was so far back that, even at that distance, her team couldn't pick up the kills that they probably wanted to pick up. But she did her job. She laid out the damage. It just was the kills weren't lining up, and the resets weren't happening. So yeah, what do we take away from this match? What do we learn on this one?
Season marks, yo. Season marks with Stim Drone, really. I think that's the really big takeaway is, unfortunately, the lack of season marks may have contributed highly to the lack of the instant burst damage with Stim Drone when it was necessary. So, really frustrating, because that's a level 1 pick. It's one of the first talents you pick up, and it's hard to decide the pace of the game from level 1.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, you don't. You're trying to figure out what you're going to do later on in the game, and sometimes your level 1 pick can be the deciding factor between between winning a team fight at level 20 or losing it. So it's hard.
Oh yeah, I know. Tell me about it. I would say, what did I take away from this one? I would probably have to say, if you're going to take leap, you have to build for 100% sustain. You have to understand that you're making yourself a target when you dive in that hard, and something like follow through probably isn't going to be as beneficial as something like ferocious healing. I would have liked to see Sonya take Wrath of the Berserker on this one. It just pour the damage on. Lay into them and force that Rhaegar to really blow some cooldowns on people. There were just too many. You had Feign Death, you had improved Ice Block. There were just too many ways of mitigating that jump when it actually happened. For Sonya, I think to really get the damage in that she wanted to get.
Yeah, absolutely. So, great game though from both teams. Both of the Storm.
I loved that Rexar pick.
Oh
my god, that was fantastic. It was so nice to see that Rexar get played.
Absolutely, and played well at that. That was a very effective Rexar. Even though honestly, you could probably argue that that pickoff, that whenever they all rotated up to top to pick him off, that actually gave Band of Wonders an opportunity to get the Dragon Knight, and it may have been planned. Well, whether or not it was planned, it was effective.
It was a 5v3 at that point, I believe, and I think it was fairly, it was a lock for Band of Wonders at that point that they were going to get the Dragon Knight. Smash Mouth made the best of that situation, but he died once, and he died. Rexar, he died late game when deaths count. But man, I was very impressed with the play throughout from all members of Band of Wonders. They had really crisp rotations throughout the early game. Jaina and Greymane were absolutely cracking people in the early game, and they made it count. Rhaegar, still overpowered, maybe.
I wouldn't say overpowered.
No,
but...
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have to check the Reddit posts later and see what kind of vitriol is being tossed around this week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, great games from both teams. It was a pleasure to cast them. It was awesome to see, such great picks and plays. I loved seeing Relentless Leader bouncing people around. I loved seeing Leap just get some play. And I loved seeing Rexar. Who's that guy? What are these talents?
Yeah. So thanks everyone for watching, and we will. This is the end of Chair League season play, so we'll see how the playoffs go and whether or not we get to cast any of those. But follow, hit the follow button if you want to, catch any of our casts or any random play that we decide we want to stream here. So come on back whenever we have some content for you.
Hey, thank you all very much. You have a nice evening.